Going into the second adaptation of the Stephen King novel The Running Man, I made the ever so common mistake of getting my hopes up for a number of reasons. Glen Powell is a good fit, Edgar Wright doesn't usually make bad movies, the combination seemed well set, and a second adaptation felt like the right idea, as despite being fun, the original movie was anything but faithful. While this version succeeds in some areas, it lacks a lot of crucial elements that are kind of needed for the genre, so you end up spending most of the movie wondering why it got made. Make no mistake, it's not bad. Like the original, it's enjoyable enough, but when you exceed 2 hours, you get a self-indulgent vibe. Government-run future, you know the drill, that alone is not automatically engaging, and given it exceeds 2 hours, you think there'd be more world building. That's the biggest issue. If you saw the trailer, you know all you need to know. Glen Powell plays Ben Richards, or I would say he plays Glen Powell. Maybe a bit less self-righteous than Top Gun Maverick or Twisters, but he needs money to get his family out of the slums, and that's the extent. We don't get to see much of the society in this, even how it got that way is not too explored, and his family, who he dearly loves, is barely even seen throughout the movie. I mean, the game is shown on TV, all they had to do was show them watching him. It wouldn't have been hard. Outside the intro, they appeared twice, once is just imagined. There's literally a scene when he calls his wife, says, "Hey, I entered the Running Man," even though I promised not to, and he barely even gets a response. She is kind of really hot, so maybe that was the priority, not dramatic acting. But the time that should have been spent on building stuff up, making me care about the leads, instead goes to, I guess, exposition. I don't know if I'd call it that. Most of the scenes do move the plot forward. The way the competition works in this, the new rules, are explained, so good job there. But aside from that, and making the competition bigger in scale opposed to the Schwarzenegger version, anything involving the corrupt side of it is generic and overdone. Without a world to get invested in or characters you care about, it really comes down to how fun is it? A couple of things are done to work against this. In the '87 movie, you have the stalkers, unique and memorable, if nothing else. The counterparts are
the exact opposite.
I have nothing to say about these fools. Most of them don't do anything until the end. When they do, they're not memorable. It's the very idea of modern movie must be realistic. That would be okay, I can get behind the realistic take. I actually understand that James Bond can stay a womanizer, not that Amazon hasn't completely fucked it.
You bitch.
But the reason it's not okay is nothing's done to justify it. If we're gonna forego chainsaw-wielding electronic villains named after a famous Mortal Kombat character, you need to sell the serious tone. That's why The Last of Us Part 2 didn't work, and the series really didn't work. I'm not saying The Running Man has to be that deep, but if not, it has to be something else. You got a couple of other players too, but they don't do anything. They're just exposition to explain how things work. This other supposedly important individual is literally thrown in at the end. It's beyond jarring. Even a supposed sub-villain I kinda thought was bad is automatically redeemed. At some point in the movie, to avoid spoilers, they try to make you think he's safe for a while, which isn't really good to create tension, but then it's blatantly ignored. Don't know what that was about. I guess they forgot. And while the action is okay with nothing too memorable, I would say the highlight is definitely the Michael Cera bit. It's the only truly standout scene full of hilarious moments. I had my hopes that he'd deliver, and he didn't let me down. Though I do question his crazy mother in the context of the movie, she'd be kind of screwed. Guess they forgot. Josh Brolin is also quite entertaining as the show's producer, in a way that you'd expect from that role, but I'd say he goes a bit beyond. I like him in this. The acting is pretty good all around. Glen Powell is the lead in this scenario. I don't know what else to say about him. Like I said, he's had more memorable roles, but in the same vein, Edgar Wright has made way better movies. That's basically what it is. A lot of things aren't done that good, and what is done right has been done better elsewhere. It's more like filling the boxes. There's literally a scene when they explain to us that he's the star, the one who's meant to last the longest. It's a blatant example of the audience could have figured that out. We don't need the movie to explain the purpose that the three contestants have. I mean, we get the analogy. Government-run society, oddly enough similar to The Long Walk, only that actually worked. Because at no point did it exposition dump the plot on you, it spoke for itself. It really was a masterpiece. And the only thing that really stands out is the conclusion, which I'll admit is not what you expect, but also a bit lackluster. I think the original had a much better climax in an 80s kind of way, and speaking of the original, the most clever thing in this movie may have been putting Schwarzenegger on the money. That's genius.
Hasta la vista, baby.
I guess given the ambitious runtime and false expectations, I was kind of let down by this, and that's the thing I need to quit doing. I don't think it's bad, it's entertaining, it's fun at times, but the lack of world building and just character development makes me recommend sticking to the original. Michael Cera is great, there are a few unexpected moments, and the best I can say about it is, it's not the worst outcome.
Could have been worse, John. A lot worse.
That said, not a lot to say about The Running Man, unless I did say a lot and didn't really notice it. Let me know what you thought down in the comments. Like the video, it's free, subscribe, share it if you can, hit the bell to get notified, YouTube is broken, so that's essential. I'm the analyst, and remember kids, before making the adaptation, think, do we need this? Before making the second adaptation, think, do we need this?